What's up, y'all? It's Saturday, it's the weekend. People probably off work, or you going to work, or you getting off work. But if you off work, get your popcorn, get your dinner, get whatever you need to get, and let's have a seat and talk. I told y'all I had a story to tell y'all about the NFL player that got killed by his side chick due to jealousy and just craziness. When I read the situation and what happened to him, I couldn't believe it. I had to read it twice. And what I'm saying, I'm always going to say allegedly just to put it in there to be on the safe side. Allegedly, what I read online is that's what it is. That's what the investigators had investigated. That's what they saw. They put it in a report and put it on the internet, and I read it. And I ain't gonna lie, reading all of that was like reading a freaking book, or reading a script for some type of movie because of what happened and how it happened. Definitely around that time, I was a little bit younger, so I did not have the mentality of knowing or even expecting any of this. I was very young at the time, and around that time, Steve McNair was in his prime. He was an NFL player, quarterback for the Tennessee Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's it, for the Baltimore Ravens. I said Tennessee, for the Baltimore Ravens. And in that time, he was in his prime. He was well known. He was well paid, and everybody loved him, and everybody like working with him. I never heard any or read anything about him going through any problems with any of his players, his playmates, the coach. I just pretty much would hear he was a pretty good guy, and he played very well in football as a quarterback. And them quarterbacks, they get paid money. They do a lot of money. But the situation is crazy, okay? So he's already married, right? He got like 3 or 4 kids. They're all boys. They're no girls. So he's already married prior to meeting this girl. So he goes to this bar. I wrote down the bar because I didn't want to forget the name of it. He goes to this bar called Dave and Buster's. That's just like a hangout spot, like a bar/restaurant. You go there, hang out, you eat, stuff like that. Go watch the game, whatever the case may be. So he goes to Dave and Buster's. Jenny, that is the name that they call her because she was from another country. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but her real name was Sahel Kazemi, but they called her Jenny. I guess because of her name was probably kind of hard for people to pronounce, so they call her Jenny. So Jenny worked at Dave and Buster's as a waitress. Steve McNair goes there, hang out, as he normally does, and he meets her there. Remind you, allegedly this girl is only 19. Steve McNair, I believe he was like in his 30s. He was like 35. But she was of age. It was just the point that she was still young. So he meets her. They end up exchanging numbers, hook up, link up. Okay. She's not knowing. I don't believe at that time she knew that he was married. I'm assuming she didn't know that he was married until later down the road when she started, continuously seeing him, they hanging out, whatever, having sexual activities. And then I believe later down the road, he eventually told her, allegedly. And it's obvious she was okay with it because, he was telling her one thing, but, in his mind, he knew what he was doing, but still telling her one thing. And, probably pretty sure doing another. He had to be, because look what happened. So he meets her there, and as time go on, they hook up. Everything's going good, but it gets to the point where they get serious. Like, they are serious to the point where they're traveling. He's giving her money, all that stuff. Now, remind you, at this point, she has to know that he's married, and she does, allegedly. But from what I read, he was telling her that he was going to get a divorce and he's leaving her to be with her. That's what he's telling her. So she's believing that. She's taking that in. And that's one thing, like, you can't do to a woman unless you know that's what you're going to do, because it could easily backfire. And most of the time it does. Like, when a man tell a woman that, you got to make sure that you are really following through your word, because if you're not and it backfires, that's your ass. Vice versa. Woman too, you know. Excuse me. So, you know, she's believing all this stuff, and, you know, she just thinks in her mind, she has a program in her mind that he's going to leave, you know, his wife. He ain't leaving her. I don't think he ever was going to leave her. As I'm reading, I don't think he ever was going to leave her. I just think he was just telling her that, and still, you know, spending time with her, giving her money and stuff like that, and they hang out and spend time. So, yeah, I wrote down some stuff because it was just kind of crazy. Like, this should have been like a freaking movie. Like, it should have been a movie. But like I said, I don't know how the family would have felt with all that information being exposed leading to his death. So as time went on, as I said, things are getting serious at this point. And it gets to a point, I pause for a minute because it's so much. Like, it gets to a point where she goes in debt. And around the time she goes in debt, it's like he's kind of like distant toward her, because he does have other women he's dating, or did have another woman allegedly he's dating, but she didn't find out about it until later. Child, all it took was for Jenny to see that girl, one of the women, walk out of a condo that, you know, that he bought in Memphis, Tennessee. He also had a condo, and he was letting Jenny come there too, and he was allegedly also seeing another woman. Well, Jenny seen that other woman coming out of that condo, and that's all it took right there. She was kind of having a feeling that he was messing around and that he wasn't going to leave his wife, but she didn't really have no proof. You know, she was just going through a lot. She was going through debt. It just seemed like everything was good at the beginning with them two, but then as time went on, things just started falling apart. She did a lot of drinking, allegedly, and she was going into debt. I guess she wasn't getting enough hours at Dave & Buster's. She had a roommate, allegedly, that was living with her, but that roommate moved out, left her, allegedly, with all the bills to pay, so she was in debt with that as well. So, you know, allegedly she was asking Steve McNair for money, saying she was in debt, she needed help. He helped her, but I slowly it was just going down. Like, I don't think he was feeling her too much, because he was, you know, dealing with other relationships. But she didn't know till later down the road. So when she seen that one girl coming out of that condo that she also goes to, it was a wrap after that. That's when she met up with this guy. I wrote down that name too, because I knew I wasn't going to remember it. But she met up with this older guy to purchase a gun. Oh, man. I wrote down that guy. Here it is. She met up with this guy to purchase a gun after she seen that woman walk out, like the day after. The guy's name, allegedly, Adrian Gillian Jr. Okay, she met up with this guy named Adrian Gillian Jr., allegedly. He gives her a gun, and he's with her for a couple of days, allegedly, teaching her how to work the gun so that she can know how to operate it when she get ready to, you know, kill him. Like, crazy. Like, she seen that woman come out, and, you know, realizing that he wasn't gonna leave his wife, she went crazy after that. So, excuse me. So, he teaches her how to use the gun for like a couple of days. Up until the night she texted Steve McNair. The night of, she texted Steve McNair and was like, hey, I want to hook up. I want to link up. I want to do this. I want to do that. Allegedly, he was still with his kids. You know what I'm saying? Putting them to sleep, all that stuff. I think that night he didn't want to really chill with her. He didn't want to link up with her, but she was like really pushing the issue, like, hey, I want to link up with you. But I think that night he blew her off, allegedly. So he finally reaches the condo. He gets to the condo. Now, allegedly, when they found Steve McNair dead, it was confirmed he was already sleeping. So, like, when she got there, premeditating what she's scared to do, he was already, like, chilling on the couch, taking a nap. Like, he was chilling, you know, up until she got there. So, when she got there, that thing crazy. Like, you know, she shot him. She shot him in the head. She shot him twice. I think she shot him twice. Twice in the head, 2 in the chest. I think it was twice on each side, 2 in the chest. Let me go back, because I wanted to remember that, but it's so much, like, and this is craziness, like, because you thought he was going to be with you, and you seen that woman walk out of that condo. That's when she snapped. All of that because of that. You know what I mean? But, I mean, it crazy. I'm telling you, I mean, it should have been a movie. It should have been a movie, you know, or a book, either or, but a movie would have been better. You know, people actually doing a reenactment on it and reacting it out so you can actually see what happened, you know, especially for the people that really wasn't around to kind of like grasp everything that went on. Like, yeah, I was around back then, but I was a lot younger, so it wasn't like I wasn't taking it in like how I'm taking it in now. But he had 2 gunshot wounds to the front chest, and this is while he was sleeping. Both exits through his back, passing through his lungs, diaphragm, liver, etc. Gunshot wound to the right side temple, came through his brain and stopped at his left ear. Gunshot wound to the left temple of his head, and the path of projectile was through the left eye. Overkill. They confirmed that as emotional overkill, because you just don't do that to somebody. And then look what happened. This man lost everything: his family, his children, his career, off of a side chick. So you got to be careful out here. And what I read, allegedly, the wife didn't find out about the side chick, Jenny, the crazy girl, until the day the investigators found both of them dead in that condo. That's when she found out about what was going on. She didn't know anything about what was going on for as long as they was messing around with each other, Jenny and Steve McNair. He had a good career. People loved him, but he was living a double life, and living that double life got him killed. And people probably don't want to hear that, but that's the honest truth. You know, I'm not taking that man's gift away of what he had and what he did for his team and for his fans, but living that double life got him killed. And then she killed herself. Romeo and Juliet type shit. That's what I was saying in my last video. Romeo and Juliet type thing. That's crazy. When she seen that woman come out that condo, that's when she snapped. That's when she wanted to get the gun, and, you know, she realized she was just gonna kill him. She was already going in debt. She had already found out about that woman walking out, and he was still married. He wasn't gonna leave his wife. She had found out all of that, plus in debt. It was too much. She probably was thinking at that very moment, if I can't have you, and I thought you was gonna leave, no one can have you. You bye-bye. You know what I mean? And so am I. Crazy. I'm pretty sure that's how she thought, because look what happened. So, but yeah, he definitely had a good career, good quarterback. But look what happened. You got to be careful out here. So yeah, I wanted to actually sit down and talk about that one, because that's what really happened. That's what I read. And I read it twice. And then I looked at a documentary on it to kind of make sure that the information kind of was similar and that it matched. Yeah, that's what happened. That was a crazy girl, man. Crazy. They confirmed it as an overkill with emotion. You kill somebody like that twice in the head, 2 in the... Why you gotta do all of that? You shouldn't be killing nobody anyway. But you doing all of that, that's shown that you was mad and you was scarred and you was angry. And then you did it while he was asleep. So he didn't even know he was dead. That's the sad part. So, rest in peace, Steve McNair. For the people that really didn't know what had went on with him, this is what went on. And there's a lot of other NFL player stories out there that are pretty good. Different situations, but still they got a storyline behind that up until their death. It's a lot of them. A couple of them that I looked at, but this one in particular was just so crazy. Like, it was definitely a twist, a double life twist that caused him to lose his life. And for the people that already, they knew about it, yeah, I'm just refreshing the memory, just talking about it. But for the people that didn't know about it, yeah, that's what happened. Crazy ass killed him, and then herself. She didn't even care that he had kids. You know what I'm saying? That's selfishness. That's letting you know she was only thinking about herself. She wasn't even thinking about his kids. Of his kids growing up living without a father. Stuff like that. That anger, them demons, or whatever was going on in her head at the time. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch up. Peace.